Hey, what is going on, YouTube? Aaron here. We are live on Update Day. We've got the legendary carriers, and I wanted to give you guys a quick look at these two carriers. Now, unfortunately, with the way matchmaking is right now and the mirrored matchmaking for carriers, the only people you're going to be able to see play these carriers and play against is community contributors. I know that is kind of crappy, but unfortunately, they could not find a workaround, and that's okay. Sometimes we don't get everything exactly how we want it. Now, I have played a game in each of these carriers, and I want to go over the stats with you guys and then take the Hakuryū into AI, just to give you guys a quick little look at it. I played the Midway against Hive earlier today, and we had a really good game. Hive also had a pretty good game in the Hakuryū. He got carrier sniped by a Shima, though, so that's always fun. But I was impressed with the Midway's damage, but I was not impressed with her plane's HP. Now, we did a previous video, but I really didn't have a good feel for the Hakuryū, so it wasn't a great video. But here, we're going to run it again. And now, in that first video, I did the base stats of the ship, but now you guys need to know that this is fully upgraded with a 14-1 Earnest King. So as you can see here, 67,000 survivability. It is a beast of a tank of a carrier there. And your aircraft are pretty decent. I was not impressed with the survivability. Now, the game we had was against, I think, 2 Des Moines, a Mino, Conquer, a bunch of legendary battleships, as it will be for legendary matchmaking. Unless you can get a tier 8 and again a bunch of non-AA builds or something like that, your planes are not going to survive. Now, the Midway has a significant amount less of planes than the Hakuryū, but they supposedly are a little tankier. So we'll look at those and compare them in a second. 100 AA, as you probably should, as on a legendary carrier. And something else I noticed when trying to kind of maneuver against an island here and kind of get closer to the fight, but while remaining in cover, is you are basically moving a football stadium. This thing has a 12,000 or 1,200 meter turning circle there with a pretty bad rudder shift. So don't get caught out of position. But with concealment mod, you have decent concealment there with around 13.9 in a battleship. Similar to a battleship. So those are the stats. If you guys want, go ahead and pause the screen on each of those. The restoration time is 77 seconds, and keep note of that. We have the restoration perk here in first modification slot, but keep note of that compared to the Hakuryū. So here, let's go ahead and go over these stats. Survivability 63,000, so slightly less, but still a good chunk of HP. And we've got the upgraded bombers here, but if you look at that restoration time, 34 seconds. You have 20, I think, torpedo bombers and 18 dive bombers to start on your deck. So it is an insane number of planes with an even nuttier restoration time. So if you can manage these planes well, you should never be deplaned in this thing, which is a scary thought. Constantly having planes coming at you. AA defense is also 100. Maneuverability is actually, you're a little bit faster with a slightly better rudder shift, but again, you're basically just a floating brick there with a 13.5 concealment. Now, something I did notice for the Midway is the armor is, yeah, similar to the Hakuryū here. You do not want to get spotted. That plunging fire into that citadel will, you're going to get obliterated with a nasty citadel. But again, armor on a carrier is kind of irrelevant. If you either position yourself so bad or your team is shooting at you that soon in a carrier, the game's over, One, either your carrier drove into the middle, as I've seen a few Graf Zeppelin players do, or you just mispositioned yourself and your team folded and the enemy's already on top of you. The Midway looks a little bit thicker here with a lot bigger casemate, but battleship shells are going to go right through that and kind of plunge into the citadel. So yeah. But let's go ahead and take the Hakuryū into AI. So as we noted, the Midway has chunky planes that are a little bit slower, but they pack a punch, guys. If you can manage your squadrons well, as you should be, pre-dropping and not sending full squadrons into clouds of AA, as I did in that game, you will get a good amount of damage. I had 6 torp hits with 2 floods, so a lot better than normal, percentages, and I think 5 bomb hits for 2 fires. Now, your fire chance is like 60% in both carriers, and you can check them on the screen here. But with the amount of output in terms of the planes you can drop in the Hakuryū compared to the Midway, you should be getting floods and fires nonstop if you're appropriating your resources. So we'll move our carrier up here. Also, something with the Midway is you can drop, it drops 2 torpedoes per plane. So you can only drop 2 planes, for your torpedo squadrons at a time, but you get 2 torps, so 4 torpedoes total if you don't lose that other plane. And it's pretty similar to the Saipan. It's pretty, you know, if you can get a good drop on a battleship, that's 12, 15k plus a flood. So, but we'll go ahead and launch full squadrons. I'm not going to play the absolute correct way you should because it's AI. If this was a normal match, I would be sending my carrier somewhere over here to kind of keep it moving, as well as going after the destroyers. Any carrier player I see that immediately goes to the back of the map and avoids the destroyers, I just know that we're probably going to lose that game because they have no concept of how to play the game. Capital ships are important, but they are less important early game compared to destroyers. So let's see if we can get some fighters here. Now again, we just mentioned that, but we're going to avoid them just because this is AI, unless one pops up here. Oh, a Colbert. So let's go ahead and... So again, if this was a normal match, we would absolutely be spotting that guy as we catch him with our fighters here. Now let's see. I haven't judged the torpedo speed. Now we did lose a lot of our squadron here. We would have pre-dropped normally, but let's actually use our invincibility and see if we can. So incapacitation on 1 flood hit was 6,000 damage. We're going to lose that plane, so we're going to line up the right side. Something I have noticed as well is, yep, the time it takes for your torpedoes to line up on the Hakuryū are a lot longer. The Parsifal's lineup time is very, very short, so you can get a lot of like cone. The cone time is short. On both the Midway and the Hakuryū here, it's very long. And again, we're just aimlessly sending planes into. Of course, he fucking disappears. This blind drop is this. I love how he disappears. Oh, there he just shot, and we lost all our planes. Cool. But as you can see, we lost 9 torpedo planes. We already have 15 back. We're sending a whole another squadron here. So, fun times. I actually kind of need to get out of here. The AI decided to target us. So, I think, I don't know, I'm not sure if I mentioned this earlier, but the maneuverability of the planes is not ideal. You're going to have to start your drops a lot sooner than you would with the Parsifal, per se, and that's kind of the carrier I play the most. To me, it's honestly one of the best. And the, yeah, just the accuracy of those torps, man. Let's start here. Losing torps left and right. Yeah, that should be a hit. Oh, nice. We got 2 there. So, a flood. Let's go ahead and send in these guys. Now, something I also noticed about the HE bombs on the Hakuryū is it takes a long time after your drop, as you can see here, to line up the next strike. The time between the two, that should be a hit. Probably a fire, yeah. So, as you can see, we're still waiting. 7 seconds. That is such a long time, so don't be flying over massive AA clouds, as we just did, or you will be losing all your planes. But as you can see, we're obliterating a lot of the. Oh, I think the fighters got us. We'll just go and send those back. So if you're silly about your planes, you will lose them. But even after we have aimlessly sent in 3 squadrons, we still have a full squadron of torpedo bombers. So obviously, resource management in terms of not being a silly carrier player, as we have been in this game, as I get double fired and might die from the AI. That's cool. You know, you don't want to be aimlessly sending in your planes, but as we can get a good drop here. Also, the range on those is 6 kilometers with a 7-kilometer range for the Midway planes. We might miss that back torp, but actually, no, get it? Yep, nice. I think we died, but that's fine because we're not trying to have an impressive game here. We're just showing you guys a quick little first look and showing you guys the stats. As we mentioned, I don't know how long they're going to allow us to have these carriers, but for 3 months here, we're going to just seeing you only be seeing CCs play each other. We might get out of this alive. Yeah. I wanted my other torp planes back. Oh, did we get it? Yeah, we got a full squadron. So 50,000 damage in 5 minutes there. 2 floods. And, I mean, you can see the flood chance is going to be significantly more. I never know if the rumor was confirmed that flood chance is associated with damage, so stacking, you know, Tanaka there to get more damage will increase your flood chance. We've been told that's not how it works, but I don't know. We don't know. Obviously, hitting the bow and stern of ships, as opposed to the torpedo protection as well, is going to be... this was a terrible drop, just for the record. Is always going to be more beneficial than... put it right in the middle and hope that we get... Should get one, yeah, right there. Nice. So yeah, 7,000 damage. That's a lot to a cruiser, folks. Plus we got an incapacitation as well. But like we said, the time that the cone takes to hit the spread there is pretty bad. So repeat drops on quick targets is going to be a little difficult to maintain. Why did we stop? And again, I'm not the absolute best carrier player. I'm a lot better than most, but you know, not as good as Chile or Peak's pretty good at carriers as well, or a few others. You know, I just find the playstyle, the gameplay insanely boring. But as you can see, getting fires and floods is a lot higher percentage compared to you know, normal carrier games at tier 7. I feel like you drop like 10 torps and get like maybe 1 or 2 floods. It's all that. A lot of that is placement, like we mentioned, the bow, what you're torping. Destroyers, you know, usually get flooded if you hit them, and you know, obviously if you get a good drop with 40, 50, it might even be 68 with maxed out fire chance, you're going to get some good fires there. But a lot of that is RNG dependent. What do we guess that this guy's still stuck on the... There he is. Now let's see. Let's get some RNG drops. We'll go at a sideways out of DD here. I think he's backing up. So not the middle of the cone. Might get one. Nope. Okay. Again, you obviously don't want to drop that way, but you know, for the memes and for the purposes of showing you guys the ships here. But I actually want to start our drop right about now, so we can get over him. He's going forward. That should be a decent drop. Okay, we got one. That is something that kind of bugs me about carriers, though, is you will get a good drop like that. We got like over 60-70% of the ship in the reticle, and we only got 1 hit. I know the bombs displaced usually on the outer circles, which is RNG dependent, but that is one thing that just really bugs me about carriers. As this game has already lasted too long, but hopefully our teams can finish him off. We threw some fighters, so if he shoots, yeah, he's spotted there. But yeah, guys, this is a first look at the Hakuryū and the Midway, but the Hakuryū here in battle, so we'll go ahead and finish up this video, and I appreciate you guys watching. We'll torp this gearing and get a nice little outro here, but they're good. They're not insanely OP, and that's a good thing. I appreciate Wargaming for not making them OP. So let's start at 5 kilometers here. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so almost 7-8 seconds there to line up a drop. We'll see if we can blind torp this guy. The cone is pretty average too. It does not go super narrow like it does on the Russians and the British. Mainly the British there. Did we get a... No. Oh my god, did he almost torp me? So yeah, not the best maneuverability either. We have to do kind of a wide circle there to get to a good hit. Where's this guy? There he is. That's got to be a hit. The right torp should be a hit. He might have moved though. Maybe left torp. Oh, he might have split those. Oh yes, we got him. Come at this angle. I think he's facing this way, so this will... Very unlikely that this will be a hit, but probably need to drop it now so we don't overshoot our cone. No flood on that hit, though. I'm a little disappointed in that. Yes. Let's go, baby. Goated. Goated. Yeah, not too much XP, but as you can see, in an AI game, was that 70,000 damage? So that's a lot more than I average in normal carriers. And carriers' damage is obviously dependent on floods and fires. But 70,000 in an AI game, only really going after a few targets. 7 torpits, only 2 floods. I'm not sure why we didn't get floods, but we got 4 incapacitations there and 1 fire with the 4 bomb hits. So a lot better flooding and fire chance. If you can figure out how to find ships that are on damage cooldown, then you're going to be stacking up the damage. And I will show you our game against Hive here in standard. Like we said, those standard games are going to be few and far between. 6 torpits, 2 floods, 5 bomb hits, and 2 fires. We spent a lot of that game being deplaned and spotting ships. Like I said, I was not impressed with the Midway's ability to tank damage. But again, those are the ships. Hope you guys enjoyed that quick little review and brief first look. I know it was AI, but as we mentioned for the 4th time now, only community contributors and CMs will have access to these in the initial beginnings of this update. So hopefully next update we will start to see a few more, but I'm a little worried about the kind of people that are going to be getting those early. So that's the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Love you guys. Aaron out. Peace.